Academy at afternoon.
So you got your letter yesterday? Or did you get it before? I just got mine, but I was late.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, what's it take after?
Tuesday, I think I got it.
Alex?
Which I was
No,
concerned because I
Brandon.
hadn't heard
So what's
anything since
Alex
I
going
applied.
to do?
So I called up last week and I said, so-and-so, and she said, just, let me check. I said, your name's not on the list, Ed. And I said, well,
He wants to
it
fly
should be.
the.
He said, no, we took the first
He
25.
does. He does.
So I emailed
He
the
does wanna
timestamp
fly.
before
And
my
now it's
application
gonna
was
be
accepted. It's
Sabrina.
at 12.
Morning, Bill.
I have a small question.
25
Something
when they shut
about-
it
On the
off,
agenda,
as they were
the
full
part that
size center.
says we approve the bills submitted by
And
the
emailed
auditor,
that. She said, let me
August
see what I can
19th.
do here.
Are those already
So then I
submitted?
got my letter, so.
No, you know, I was gonna ask today about that. 'Cause
Just go over here, because I gotta get all my stuff over here. I'm so sorry. I'm not quite prepared.
But still, if the bills haven't been actually been submitted and
Submitted,
approved.
yeah, I was gonna ask on that, because I saw that on there, because normally we can pass.
Hi, Brian.
Hello, Barb, how are you today?
And you?
No, I'm hanging in there, I'm doing well.
Good. Thank you, Sabrina.
Yeah, I was gonna double check on that. Hey, Abe, maybe you know, Barb brought this up and I had it as a question on mine. You know, under the budget and finance, you know how we have
you,
approval
Barb?
for the bills next week that we
I'm
have
good.
Well, they review them.
Oh, they were.
Another rainy day.
Oh,
We're not meeting, we have to.
Oh, is it raining again?
Not yet, but they're guaranteeing rain this afternoon,
yeah,
this
so
evening,
we're
and
just approving
Oh,
them.
50 or
Based on
60%
the
chance all day
auditor and
tomorrow.
Joe.
That'll do a lot to break that 12-hour drought we had.
We,
Hey, Barb,
Yes,
Amy's got the explanation
thank you.
here.
The auditor reviewed them and that's
Yeah,
all.
they come up from the auditor and
But they had to be approved by the auditor.
or by the auditor and.
good morning, Vicki.
Joe.
Was Karen working at home? I moved out of my own office, you know, she's back in the office.
I will.
Got my office back.
It would only take a minute out of the year.
Not for long, at the rate they're going, they'll be
It's
shipping
gonna be
her butt
god awful,
back.
yeah. And I don't do well with severity anymore.
They
Don't.
they've even said now, if your door's open, you have to have a mask on.
Where's she work?
Kent State, she's in career placement.
Hey, Ann. I don't know who typed this up, but,
Ripley?
yeah, did you see
I
that?
got it.
I put Crombie.
I think I changed yours. So
Yeah, you did.
read it
Yes,
right.
you- Yep.
Okay. We have a half hour, right?
Yes.
Talk fast, like an action here.
So the executive session for HR is not needed today.
Yeah, I just marked it off on my agenda.
11:15.
HR's not involved today?
She's not coming in. She just has journal entries now.
And Joanne's not coming in.
Joanne, yeah.
She needs to go home. She is very, she's got like a summer cold or something. I saw her yesterday. She did have that awful. I had that same group that, you just need to rest. I know, isn't that funny? I start my watch, they're all asleep.
Morning.
I'm not doing good on my steps today. I'm gonna do the steps. Okay, let's do it. please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll recess Board of Commissioners and go into solid waste.
Board moves to approve the minute from August 5th, 2021.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky? Yes. Sabrina?
Yes.
Any comments on the journal entries?
No, just,
No. Board moves in accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code. This board's resolution 21-0396, including part 9. The Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval of the hire of John Garrison, CDL driver, replacing Trenton Robinson, Portage County Solid Waste Management District, effective August 23rd, 2021.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky? Yes. Sabrina?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners moves to acknowledge and receipt of the August 2nd, 2021 official certification of the estimate resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2022, determined by the Budget Commission and Portage County and represented by the auditor.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 12th, 2021 bills as presented by the county auditor.
Second.
And roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 12th, 2021 journal vouchers as presented by the county auditor.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 12th, 2021 then and now certification presented by the county auditor.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 19th, 2021 bills as presented by the county auditor.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 19th, 2021 journal vouchers as presented by the county auditor.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board moves to approve the August 22nd, 2021 then and now certification as presented by the county auditor. 19th, August 19th, 2021.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
The board moves to amend the 2021 annual appropriation resolution 20-183 adopted December 17th, 2020.
Do you have any comment on that?
we're just moving money to cover reimbursements from one account to the other.
Well, I have a question on that one, Bill. So it looks like we're decreasing contractual services and we're increasing claims. Did we have claims on?
We're increasing.
Yeah.
So we did have a claim. There was a damaged light pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of
that we
our
had to
drivers.
reimburse.
Yeah.
Okay. And then reimbursement for overpayments.
So when the billing office bills out, like, let's say the city of Aurora, sometimes it gets misbilled or the condo association gets billed and then it's also billed to the property owner and they both pay.
Oh.
So then I get something saying, you need to reimburse one or the other.
Is that just a glitch in our system or how in the world? Okay.
I'm not really sure how.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Okay, we have a second. Vicky, did you second? Okay. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
And Barb, I just want to clarify, Barb asked about the August 19th, and the answer is the county goes on, so the auditor did have to look at the bills, and that's why we approved it.
Joe.
The bills.
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, we already.
Yep, all right. No, we did it to Barb, not everybody else. Okay. Discussion items.
Elmira Township, just real briefly, we've sent out all the invoices for the drop-offs. I received an email from the fiscal officer from Elmira Township that they would like to at least have some official document beyond the invoice for this year for the service. So I believe I did this last year, so I'm just gonna do a standard one-year contract from January 1 to December 31st. I just wanted to let the board know if you're good with that, then that way we can be paid for this year. I will have that in their hands by the end of business today.
No, what, explain that again, I'm sorry, I'm not.
We invoiced everybody for the drop-offs. Most everybody, that's,
Just
Okay.
knock your socks off. huh?
yeah. That's okay, I had the same chair.
Sorry.
I had the same chair. If you hit that arm just right, you fall. You fall. Anyway, the billing, BBFM has sent out the invoices for all the drop-offs.
Okay.
And Palmyra probably for their own records, wants a contract beyond an invoice so that, I don't know if it's an auditing thing or whatever. But they're just requesting that one-year contract, and then they're more than happy to pay the invoice.
Yeah, what's the date on it then?
January 1 to December 31st, just
This year, 2021. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I will have that, have that to fiscal officers emailed by the end of today.
And how many drop-off containers do they have and what are they paying?
It's still 600 and Palmyra has 5.
Okay.
The next thing, this is kind of a generic topic because when I did my agenda, this is kind of taken on a couple different twists, but Don has worked diligently on it for presentation to the board. So I'm going to turn this over to Dawn. And
Yeah, and so I will give you an update on where I feel we're at and the direction I feel we're going. And I'm sure you're gonna have individual contract questions as our current status, and he may have a better idea. But I'm just gonna read you a synopsis of where we're currently at, and then feel free to ask questions. Okay? Are we ready? I'd like to give you a better understanding of Portage County recycling. Our district was created in 1989 in compliance with Ohio law that required each county to form a district. Essentially making the district take responsibility for the waste stream and provide recycling opportunities. The idea behind this was to divert from the landfill. And here's where I'd like to say, please note, acceptable items placed into the district containers do not go to a landfill. They are hauled to waste management for processing and recycled. Portage County does not own a landfill. The district operates under what is called a solid waste plan. Our current plan states we need to provide access to 90% of the communities for Portage County. This can be done through private or public sector, and we can do this through a drop-off or through curbside recycling. Currently, we have 92% access, which is amazing. The only communities that do not have access are Deerfield, Freedom, Garrettsville, Wyndham Village, and Township. Our current status. Our staff is essential. We do not have the option to work from home. Our CPL drivers are in high demand, and they are heavily recruited. They were not actively out looking for a job, they were heavily recruited. District drivers are paid $20.12 an hour, which before the pandemic was, I believe, to be an average rate with good benefits. The district lost a few drivers and a mechanic within the last few weeks. The jobs they left for are above $25 an hour and have equal or better benefits, such as a 40-hour work week, 100% medical coverage, and a take-home vehicle. And many CDL jobs are offering sign-on bonuses. The benefits are
Can't compete with them.
but yet we still have to hit our access goal under a solid waste plan, which is why we exist. With the loss of those employees, the district needed to consider the safety of our drivers, the safety of the citizens on the roads, and still provide access to recycling. So the district converted every community to every other week service. Looking forward with the future status of our district, Kimball will begin picking up Streetsboro on October 1st of 2021.
We hope.
Yes, that's the intent, right? Aurora's contract ends December 31st, 2021. They should be going out to bid as well, we hope. The district does not intend to bid on this. The townships that we currently service curbside are Atwater, Brimfield, Franklin, Hiram, Manaway, Ravenna, Bridgetown, Taylorsville, and Suffield. We also service Hiram Village, the city of Kent, Ravenna City, Sugarbush Knolls, and Hiram Village. These communities will have the option to sign a standardized contract with every other week service at $5.50 a month or bid out their recycling services with an effective date of 1/1/2022. If they choose to not have curbside recycling, the district could place a drop-off if we need to hit our access goals. Please note, the district does currently have quite a few townships that have a contract at the rate of $5.50 a month for every other week service in support of the district.
How many districts have that contract now?
How many townships?
Yeah.
4. Financially speaking, the district is not funded through the general fund. However, for the first time last year, we did have to borrow $400,000 from the general fund, which is why we did ask for that rate increase this year. Actually, we probably asked for it last year.
Yeah.
The district has been working on this for a while. In researching the average cost of curbside recycling, it seems we are very much on target with our cost of $5.50 for every other week service. Recent bids around the local area has seen prices up to $7 a month. If a community does not have a single hauler for trash, then historically it has shown they won't bid on curbside recycling. In 2023, the district will begin to rate a new solid waste plan update. The new format of this plan will require the district to hit an access goal of 80%. So currently we're at 90%, we will have to hit an access goal of 80%. So if some choose to not have curbside recycling, they may not have to have a drop-off either.
Why is it 90% now and you think it'll go down to 80%? I thought it had to do with our generation fees.
No, what's happened is our current plan was written under format 3.0. The EPA has come out with 4.0, and with the markets falling and what happened in 2018 with the foreign markets essentially disappearing, a lot of the solid waste districts said, you know, we can't do this. We're probably one of the most unique districts in the state because of the volume of curbside recycling we do. Most districts have an office staff. There's a few that do some drop-offs. Van Wert County does both drop-off and curbside, but not on the level we do. And honestly, there was just, you know, the cost of providing the program. So the EPA recognized that maybe they need to lower that down to 80% because a lot of communities have just stopped recycling because of loss of drivers and just the cost of providing the program right now.
But before, we had, the year we did not ratify our plan, we had a higher percentage we had to reach because of the generation fees. Is that still the case though?
No.
Compared to other communities, do they still have to meet 80% or is it less?
We're actually, the district itself is obligated to make sure that 80% of the population has access to recycling in some shape or form, whether it's curbside, public or private, or drop off, public or private. That's what we're tasked with. So.
I understand that, but my question is, how does that compare to other counties? Because
Yeah, well, it depends upon how you write your plan. You can write your plan based upon access or diversion. And diversion means you have to show 35% of the total solid waste diverted to some kind of recycling. Recycling, composting, organic composting, stuff like that. For the plan to be ratified, you need 80% approval. So it's a different thing. Access is separate from plan approval because our generation fee is above $5 per ton. We have to have a higher ratification.
Yeah,
Right?
that
That's where
was
the-
my
that's where
point.
the 80%.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's easy to get them confused because on one hand you talk
Oh,
about.
I wasn't
them-
confused. I
Yeah.
was just asking
Right.
because I remember the year we did not ratify and the EPA wrote our plan
Yeah.
and put us into single stream. We had a higher percentage because of our generation
Right.
fee was so much higher than the average, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Almost done.
Pardon?
Almost done.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Closing.
Don. Sorry, Don.
Blame Sabrina.
Literally
Blame
all
Sabrina.
paragraph left. All right, here we go. In closing, the district will continue to work on increasing our efficiency and lowering our overtime costs, which is outrageous. Once we close Aurora, picking up Aurora and Switchboro. There will be a strong need to reevaluate our pay structure for our CDL drivers because we still have to provide access. We still have to hit. Which is done during our wage reopener this fall, and obviously this is based upon board approval. So here we are. Done.
So now my question is, okay, so, we are reducing the services that we are providing because we're allowing others to, communities to go outside of our district. We have reduced our staffing, some not by choice,
Right.
let's just say. But we still have debt as well. So my question is, does the generation fees, the revenue that we generate from the recycling, how does that offset the debt and the expenses that we have for the district? If we go down to, what is the bare minimum that we can go down to in order to still sustain the district? And possibly look at
We have to
increases.
provide 90% access, whether that's private sector or public sector. We have to provide 90% access. So if the private sector does not want to provide service, we either have to put a drop off
Drop-off.
there or provide curbside. Like,
Yeah, but my question
That's
is, my question is, where is our break even? Because I keep hearing, we're gonna let Aurora out, Streetsboro's out. And those are big accounts for us, which help supplement the drop-off communities. And so my question is, where is our break even point? What can we go down to before there's a red light going off that the
And that's-
district?
And that's something that we started meeting with Joe and Michelle, we need to do that again. And you have to remember that right now, Streetsboro and Aurora contracts, we're not making money, we're losing money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our cost to provide that service far outweighs the revenue that we receive
So
from
they're not
that.
really big accounts. it's
No,
not-
well, they're big accounts as far as on the negative
Yes,
side of
right.
the ledger.
Right.
But
So,
we've
but-
reduced servicing to
Well-
them, and now we're gonna reduce
Right.
the amount they pay.
Right.
So that's why I'm asking.
What we have to do is we have to look forward, because one of the things that will allow us, by not servicing Streetsboro and Aurora, that frees up 3 trucks, which then means instead of, right now, we would need a spare truck because all of our trucks are on the road every day. Those 3 trucks would go into spare mode, which will then reduce the wear and tear on the rest of the fleet and then stretch those trucks out even longer. Trucks are usually about an 8 to 10 year investment. And the nice thing of it is, if we can get those in spare, we can make those last longer, and our capital cost we will not incur that. Now, in speaking with Michelle, we are looking at some different options. A truck is about $320,000 new. The problem is, with the current state of the economy in labor, if I ordered one today, I would be lucky to see it in 8 months, because parts are next to impossible. Just to give you an idea, we're on month number 6, waiting for a wiring harness for one of the trucks, because the parts just aren't there. So we're trying to look at capital cost out. Some of these communities that we will stop servicing, we still have one more round of billing. So we won't need to hire as many drivers, because if we put everybody on every other week service, our driver needs will be even lower, probably right around 7 drivers-ish. We have to figure out who's gonna slide where and what week, because we're trying to balance. We have 2 weeks of service, A week and B week. So we're trying to balance that out as much as we can, so we service about the same size number of communities, over 2 weeks, because we don't want one. We have some days of the week, like Tuesdays on B week, are extremely huge. Brentfield, that section of Brentfield is growing tremendously, a lot of new housing developments. That's big. Wednesday's big in Ravenna, because we do the township and the city, and that section of the township is large. And then Aurora, currently, we do a large section up there, which almost necessitates putting 2.5 trucks up there. So we're trying to balance that out. One of the other things we may have to do, Dawn and I have talked about, is, and I've been kind of playing with this, is a way to maybe retain drivers, is if we can do this over the 2 weeks, maybe convert them to 4 10-hour days, and then they have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I think that would be an enticement to keep our current drivers as well as attract other drivers to us, because one of the things that we have seen is holiday weeks. Holiday falls on a Monday. The guys are back in on Saturday, and I can tell you Sunday goes by just like that, and it's like you're already back to work. So we're doing some creative thinking outside of the box. Dawn is constantly talking to the drivers, getting feedback. But, you know, it's my recommendation to the board, we've got to take a long, hard look at what we're paying these individuals.
Which is why my question is, where's
Right.
our break-even point? And then I, as well as the other two commissioners and you, received an email from Rootstown.
I
So-
didn't receive an email from Rosestown.
Oh, you didn't?
No. And that's
Did they
something
rescind it?
I would like to talk to you about offline, because
Okay.
there's my version of the story.
But
And
But I just want to know, have we talked to the prosecutors, what's the recourse, because we're under contract
Well-
bi-weekly.
But the thing is, Sabrina, that's true. And
Yeah,
they're kind of threatening if we break the contract.
and that's
However,
concerning.
that a lawsuit for safety would be much worse than.
I understand, that's why I'm asking, what do we do with that? I mean,
I think
well,
for safety reasons, we're allowed to.
So I think the answer to your question could be that they have done research, my understanding, and speaking with Bill and Dawn and Joe, we had a meeting. The break-even point, or potentially, in order to remain competitive and profitable, at some point, it was $550 a month. Is that correct, Bill, with every other week service in those
Yes.
communities? And in fact, several communities have signed on
right.
with you, right? In order to preserve that relationship with the county and to support the district, right?
Right.
That is correct.
So now, last week we met, we did not have those exact figures together, which they were working on getting, the actual numbers for you. They don't have those available at this point in time. But with some quick figures, 550 was the number that you established to be competitive as well as profitable at that point in time, which is how you came up with 550. And that was back in April, right?
That is
Where you
correct.
started meeting with these these townships, as well as cities. But again, you don't have the actual numbers as to how profitable you are at this point in time. And you were also putting together a capital improvement plan that also included a switch out program with your trucks. So they're still in the development stages of everything that they do need, but they are working on that. But a good number was $550 a month for every other week service. And the reason why they were going to every other week, several things. For one thing, they needed immediate change with their drivers. They have an extreme shortage right now, so that's a safety issue. As far as the contracts where townships and or cities were not willing to change with them beginning in April. So my suggestion is that we, regardless of whether they're in agreement or not, we have got to make a change. It's a safety issue. But for those communities that are not willing to, then we're going to have to charge them for the service that we provide. So if we are not providing full service, then we cut it in half and we charge them accordingly. That's fair. And although we may not be providing the contracted service that we originally signed up for, which sometimes is 3 or 5 years ago, things change. We cannot help that a pandemic occurred, et cetera, and I would much prefer and or suggest that we deal with a breach of contract as opposed to a life safety issue.
And Bill, you did receive the email I'm referencing, it was sent to you at 10:14
Oh, okay,
PM.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, from
Okay.
Joe Paulus, because he
Yeah,
sent it to the 3
Right,
commissioners
okay.
and you.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
And
I'm
I-
like.
And I have reached out to Joe, and he has yet to return my call, so I will try again.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not concerned about that, he
Yeah.
said, she said, I was
Right.
just concerned, what do we do?
Yeah.
We've not
Yeah, I-
had this.
Well, again, I have talked to Chris McGurry quite a bit, and we both agreed, you can sue for breach of contract. However, when you add the pandemic in, what's happened to the CDL usage, it's not like we've stopped. We're still providing some level of service to the community. We're just in a tight spot with staffing.
But we need to make them aware of that, right? I mean, we want to
Right.
take care of our
And we
townships
have
and our
offered-
citizens,
We
of
have
course.
offered remedies to the situation.
That's right.
We're trying to bring people on board. as quickly as possible. So that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay.
Bill, does that 550 cover raises for the drivers?
Yes. What I did was, I remember earlier in the year when I came in about the one rate, and Tony suggested raise it to the point where you don't have to keep coming back every year. And I like that idea. As I'm selling this 550, we should be able to hold this number for a while here, because we will see, I just received a letter yesterday, our processing costs are going up 5% because they have to pay the people that sort more money. Everyone's having problems with staffing. So what happens is that cost gets passed through, and we're not in a position where we can absorb that. That cost has to go through. We're completely redoing the standard contract. I just have to bring back one policy. Like I told you last meeting, I just didn't like it. We have to consider such things as fuel surcharge, because every time I look at the pump, I'm glad I got rid of my personal diesel truck, even though I loved it dearly. That cost is going up. We use a lot of diesel fuel in the course of
So
the
we
week.
don't do that now, because I know like with my trash, it has a fuel
Well,
surcharge and it does.
That's one of my two questions,
Yeah.
just right there.
Yeah.
We just spoke, I don't
Yeah.
understand why us as a county,
Yeah.
we have not been doing that.
Yeah, because I gave,
Do you see it on your trash too?
I haven't been looking at it, mine went up to $12 a month.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, when Tony and I talked the other day, I just went to Rumpke's website, and at one time, it was 99 cents, but I don't think we'll ever see 99 cents a gallon. But I believe it's what, $1.20 up to $6.
Yeah.
There is a percentage for every penny increase that you see. And so, but what's amazing though is people will get their trash bill and not bark about it, but yet we do that. You know, there's something wrong there. But it's something we just have to seriously look at, because people are gonna have to expect that if you want the service, you have to pay the true cost of providing the service.
Yeah.
Correct, and if we're gonna provide it, we should be looking at private carriers. You said there's a government change.
Yeah.
So the other question that I have is in '89, we started the district.
Mhm.
How many counties out of the state of Ohio have solid waste districts?
There's 52 solid waste districts. When the law was set up, you could do bulk, you could be a standalone county, or you can combine with other counties. Currently, there are 2 solid waste districts that are 6 county. There are some that are 2, like Geauga Trumbull, and then there's us, who is a standalone, but there's a total of 52. I think some of those counties combined just for the sake of
Yeah,
smaller
Ashtabula
counties.
is one
Yeah.
of the ones that
There-
definitely.
pulling
There are
resources.
33 single county solid waste districts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, you went to Hiram like 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
How, were they receptive to?
Well, I explained the situation with what we're faced with. I explained our issue with the drivers and safety. I think on one hand, they want to stay with us, but at the weekly service. And I told them, number one, I don't foresee us ever going back to weekly service, because I think, honestly, when we started rolling out the carts, that's why the 95-gallon cart was the automatic default back in 2016, because when we talked to Rarig at the time, they had a better, you know, they're one of the top, if not the top cart manufacturer in the country. So we were relying upon what they saw. And they highly, highly recommended do not hand out 65-gallon carts, because there were a number of communities that did that and found themselves recarding their community with 95s. So that's why we made the 95s the default. And so we have been, you know, if we cart a community, that's the default cart, because people have a tendency to start using it. And for me, I have a 95. There are some weeks that I can get by with every other week, and there's some weeks that I'm stomping down on the thing because
Amazon's been there.
Amazon's been there.
Karen's been busy.
Karen's been busy, but those are things we're looking at. So I knew that they had talked about going into an executive session with the contract, but I've yet to hear back from them what their decision is. But I basically explained, you know, what we're doing across the county with the rates and stuff like that. standardization of the contracts. I simply said the board has charged the district with standardizing the contracts and rates by the end of the year, and that's what we're doing. And I basically explained that if that doesn't, that if you really want weekly service, then you have plenty of time to talk to the private sector to see if they can provide that for you.
Where are we for the community? Because one of the biggest complaints, and I heard this yesterday from a trustee from Hiram, is the lack of notice for the shift in services. And could they, and I've had like 2 residents call, do we have extra cards? Because as you know,
We have,
it was in the newspaper, you offered extra cards to Aurora, but not to Streetsboro and yada yada. But where are we at? Do we have extra
we
cards?
we have a very limited supply of carts. Carts are about a 4 to 6 week lead-in time. And
About
it's
$30,000.
about a $30,000 expense for a truckload of carts in our budget.
How much in the truckload?
It depends what,
683.
yeah.
680?
And that's if you order one size.
Okay.
We try to split it up 65 and 95, so.
But did we have extra cards? I'm assuming we do
Not
in
really.
case, no?
We really don't.
What about if one falls apart or,
We have replacement parts,
okay.
like we have extra wheels, we have extra lids, extra bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a few extra containers, but we don't have enough to.
Give
And
everybody-
here's the thing, like, since, like with Streetsboro, we left the option to use those cards.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we'll do the same for Aurora.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have.
I understand
we
the
don't have
offsetting
enough
of
to-
the cost to pick them up, but yet there's still debt owed on those. So what happens, or, I mean, we're still paying on a lot of those cards.
And we
Wow.
cannot purchase another $30,000 worth of cards. So to me, we need to break down the cardboard and recycle correctly. Break it down, we'll reload the cards and empty it again.
Have you had a problem with carts breaking? Because it seems
No,
like they're pretty
it's,
sturdy.
yeah, what happens sometimes is.
My bar rusted.
We can get you a new bar.
We can get you.
No, you already got me one.
But anyway, sometimes because the arms on the truck go through so many repetitive
Oh,
motions.
okay, so
you
it's
know,
the truck that.
The truck,
Okay.
you know, the cylinders will get a little bit loose, or the grippers, you know, we constantly have to adjust the
Okay.
grippers. And it'll, instead of setting it down gently, all of a sudden it'll just take off and slam.
Pops a
And-
wheel off.
Yeah, and that's what happens when it hits that, the wheels go flying in both directions. So normally, Larry, our part-time person, he usually keeps a good supply of axles, because there's 2 different size axles and wheels and lids, and sometimes pins for the lid. So based upon what the repair is how we replace that. We do have some residents that like to abuse our carts. I went to a guy down in Atwater who swore on the phone to me it was cracked. I've never seen a crack in a cart look like somebody took a Sawzall and cut down the straight side. I, wasn't very happy to see that, because that's a $65, investment, and that's when we had Alex. And I said, you may just want to stop in and visit and chat with this person, that this was a one-time deal. And I explained to the resident, we will never do this again, because this is not a crack, this was a deliberate cut. So we do have some of that experience. Some of them, we still have reports of people stealing them. I haven't had time to scour eBay to see if they're out there as a collectible or not. But there are those cases.
Well, thank you for that explanation.
Sure.
But, so you will work with Joe and Michelle so we can find out what that bottom line is and try to come
Yeah.
back to us. I'm sorry, we have someone waiting list. Do you have another question?
One, you, with the surcharges, are you gonna start putting those in the contracts?
Yes.
That, for the fuel surcharge?
My
Yeah.
goal is to get this contract done with Chris, bring it to the board, so that way you can have a look at it, see what you want in it, and then we will move forward.
What about those 5 other ones that already have contracts?
They expired December.
Most of them are just
Okay,
MOUs
just
or an
like-
amendment to the contract.
Okay.
But I have explained to
Good.
everybody, by mid-September, it's our goal to be mailing out these new contracts.
Good.
That way you've got reaction
Yeah.
time. You
But
stay with us or go
That's
somewhere.
the goal for you guys. And
Great.
I said that a couple meetings ago, September. We
Yeah.
have to have a handle on where our district is
Right.
and go to move it forward. Okay.
May I ask a question about a definition?
Sure.
You talk about access, we're required to provide at least 80% access. And what I understand access to mean is it's here, we have the service, you can have it for a fee. But, and that's pretty much what one of them said, is that access has to be either through the county or by private service. But then Dawn said about, well, we currently have 90% access, which I understood to mean 90% of the people who are actually accessing it. So which one is it? Which definition is it? People who actually access it, or people who have it
Access
available?
to it.
Access to it.
So that is, actually, we have 100% access.
It's per community, right. So
Thank
it's
you.
access in the community.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We'll
Thank
look
you.
forward to hearing some
Thanks.
updates.
Yep,
Good
Thanks.
job.
Thanks, Don. Good job. Thanks, Bill.
yep, you're welcome.
Okay,
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn? Solid waste?
roll call.
Tony?
Yes.
Vicki?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
I'd like to do this.
All right, we'll reconvene as the Board of Commissioners. Do we have, let's see here, Water Resources. I think I saw John out there. Oh, I had a feeling that was coming though.
Just-
Hi, yeah, come on.
I can take a job. You went to my hometown.
He's gonna call you.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
Hi,
Good
John.
to see you.
John, did you hear our terrible news?
No.
Mike's not gonna take the job.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you is, are you still willing to stay on until, we do have another applicant to take a look at. Will be,
That's a proper answer. Thank you.
well,
We appreciate
no,
that.
I can't force him, no.
No, that's why we're asking you.
Well,
if
this
you
is
think-
new news, let me take it back, think about some things, but I'm sure we can come to some kind of positive solution.
Okay.
This
But
position.
you have another one there, I would
Yeah.
recommend, I know he's a little bit out of town, but the credentials are there, I know,
Okay.
so. But I came here today anyways, we got word of a new grant program,
Oh, yes.
Great.
so we got a list
I
of
saw that.
projects there. And basically just looking for your guys' approval anyway to move forward. The timeline is quick, we didn't get much notice, of course, we're in the same, when I say that, we're in the same situation as anybody else, not because we got special no notice. They just put the program out with not much notice, and actually, the applications are due on Monday.
Yeah.
And it's a partnership with the EPA and Ohio Development
Yeah.
Department, and we got a list of projects, I've got them noted there. A couple of them are infamous names in the past, for example, the Chin Regional Sewer Project, got that on there, a couple man-away projects.
Okay, you've skipped on us. You're down to journal entry. We, okay. Speaking of the Chen allotment, where are we with that?
So we're trying to finalize design, the schedule's been somewhat moving along as planned, we're a little bit behind. But there's some ideas in the future during construction anyways to make that up a little bit, but you know, others are involved in this, EPA's involved, obviously our consultant help. And the drawings are getting finalized, they're in for final approval, they've been there before with some revisions. Portage County engineers involved, looking at those drawings.
See that. I think 2, 4, and 5 are the hot buttons for your grant. Man away.
Yeah, and one, two.
Yeah, because when I sent that, I sent it to Kaylee, I'm like, look, take a look into this because we can use that. I know there's gonna be a lot of expenses coming with just the maintenance and stuff like that always.
Sure.
But whatever, I can get worked out.
So the numbers sound good and what they're offering that, but we'll see how competitive it is and where we fit in.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's not really a lot of money across the entire state, you know? But hey, it never hurts to apply.
It's something.
You know what? Anything's better
It's
than
better
what
than
we got
nothing.
now,
That's
right?
That's right.
Okay, John, if we can go back up, did you have any other comments or anyone have any questions on the grant?
Journal entry grant, anything else? Nothing else?
'Cause okay.
Board of Commissioners moves to authorize the water Resource Department to prepare and apply for a financial grant for various projects for sewer and water infrastructure for the Ohio Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Grant Program.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes. Okay, back to our discussion item in the draft resolution for the annual sewer maintenance assessment for Mogador Sewer District number 8. What is it currently? I mean, I see the proposed and it's an annual sewer maintenance assessment for Mogador. Do you know what the current rate is? I see what the proposed rate is.
Well, there was a question about that, about it seems not to have changed through the years. It's a thing in some county, it's an item that John Evans and I were discussing. The only changes on it each year, for example, the changes there before you was just additional parcels that have names, name change. Every time an ownership name change, it develops an action on that list.
Mhm. Yeah, but it says here, it has to do with the assessments, and it's referencing that it's 40 cents per foot with $40 minimum assessment for each parcel connection to the sewer, no change in rate. Okay, so I see it, there's no change. So what exactly does the annual assessment review, just whether we need to increase it? I
Well,
mean-
essentially, that's what, the only actions that are before you is
Okay.
just property owners have changed. Basically, when somebody sells their property and a new owner comes on, that develops a change from the previous year.
Okay,
Or it could be vacant lots that eventually get built on.
yeah,
That's essentially the changes. Now, the rate, that was a discussion we were having internal-wise
Yeah.
about when does that change?
Yeah.
Or how does it change? Because it doesn't appear to change for a lot of years.
You said for 8 years it hasn't changed?
I can't quote exactly on the number of years, but it seems like for the last several years that I'm aware of, it hasn't changed. And it's an agreement, so,
In other places, do those rates change by percentage, by the economy?
well,
usage, what?
I would think it'd be dependent on the initiative from, for example, our rates, we haven't done much with that anyways. It's been a topic and an item anyways to have those reviewed. If people were in such and similar conditions as we are anyways, they haven't made a review of their rates and there's been no changes, then they wouldn't have no changes. But as time goes by, you would think that rate would change anyways.
So are you suggesting that perhaps we need to have a rate study done? I know
We do.
Gene was supposed to have done that in
Yes,
17 and 18, and it just never got
I have
done.
plans soon to come before you with some information on that. We have a plan for that.
Okay,
And get some help to get that done.
yeah, because that's definitely something we should look
Yeah,
at.
it's actually something that's required now within writing to do that some of the years.
Excellent.
We're behind on that, the plan to get that up to date.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so you need us to approve, it just says draft resolution. So that's not something that we need, or you want us to pass?
That's for Mogador?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I thought it was typical, just administrative
Yeah,
journal
let's just start
entry
like.
on that.
It's what?
It's fine, it's good to pass.
Oh,
Good to go.
okay, well, because it said draft inside, okay. All right, go ahead.
Portage County Board of Commissioners certifies to the Portage County Auditor an annual sewer maintenance assessment for Mogador Sewer District number 8 to be levied on 2021 tax duplicate payable 2022.
Second.
Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes. All right. Anything else, Mr. Evans?
No, thanks.
Or not Mr. Evans, Mr. Bennett? We're talking about John. John does.
We get, callers get our names interchanged quite a bit when we have jobs.
I see Ben Carpenter's leaving.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I saw that. I
Yes,
was
so
like,
we're gonna be advertising, we already have a position, and we have 2 names, so.
oh no.
We have a current position already been advertised, but not much response. but
Did
we'll
he
have
get
2
a
now.
better paying job or
He's going
something?
to Streetsboro.
Oh, is he? Okay.
For a few years, it's kind of, pay wise anyways, it's got advantages to it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Thanks,
for
John.
coming
Appreciate
in.
it. Human Resources, Jen's not here.
She's not coming in, but you guys can
Go ahead.
move forward.
Board of Commissioners agrees to authorize the full-time hire of Sarah Taylor for JFS Public Information Officer, replacing position held by Kimberly McClendon, Portage County Jobs and Family Services. Anticipated start date is September 1st, 2021. Board of Commissioners agrees that this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing required pre-employment testing.
Second. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation of Benjamin Carpenter, Collection Systems Operator 1, Portage County Water Resources, effective date August 20th, 2021.
Second. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to authorize the internal external posting of a full-time collection specialist operator replacing Ben Carpenter for Portage County Water Resources.
Second. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the professional development wage increase for Matthew DeWald, Engineer Technician 2, Portage County Water Resources, due to completing the skills and training criteria required for promotion per current CBA, qualifies him for Engineering Technician 3 title, effective August 16th, 2021.
Second. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
In accordance with the Ohio...
Oh, no.
Oop, excuse me,
Canceled.
stop.
Yeah, we
Cancel.
canceled. Okay, we got Jobs and Family
Jobs and Family
Services out
Services.
there?
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning. Good. I'm actually sad because my children are going to college starting Sunday, but.
Where are they going to?
Son's going to Bowling Green, daughter's going to Baylor in Texas.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Good
geez,
trip.
Texas.
Yeah, long trip. So anyways, but I'm good otherwise. Thanks, guys.
Great.
We just have an executive session today.
In accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, motion to enter into executive session, discuss employment of public employee, also President of Jobs and Family Services, Director Kelly Jo Jeffries, Actor and County Administrator Michelle Crumpet.
Was Janet gonna be?
She will not be termed.
Oh,
I thought she
I
was.
can go check.
Oh.
She was included, she knows, they
Yeah,
both
she
know
should be.
about it
Okay.
too, yeah.
Second? I'll second. Roll call?
Tony?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Vicky?
Oh,
Yes.
I thought Janet wasn't in. Was it here?
Oh, yeah.
No, there she is.
Oh.